Are you ready?
Yeah. So just wondering how many of you are thinking about purchasing a vehicle? Well, when thinking about purchasing a vehicle, you may be thinking about whether to finance or lease the vehicle. By giving this presentation, I hope you will understand the differences between both financing and leasing a vehicle. I recently purchased a vehicle myself and had to do research on my own to decide on how I wanted to purchase a vehicle. So today we'll be talking about the pros and cons of financing and leasing a vehicle. So, what does financing a vehicle mean? Well, financing a vehicle means to take out a loan, make monthly payments on that loan until fully paid off. By that time, you will have full ownership of the vehicle. So, what are some benefits to financing a vehicle? Well, according to an article by Tracy Benoit on autobyte.com, where you can find lots of car buying tips, she goes on to state the following. One is having lower insurance rates. For a lot of us guys, that might be something we look into, simply because our insurance rates are usually always higher. Two, you're able to modify the vehicle to your liking. Three, there's no limitation on how many miles you put on the vehicle. Four, by the time you fully pay off the vehicle, you will have full ownership and you will be able to trade in or sell the vehicle. However, despite all these pros it has, all the pros financing a vehicle has, there are also some cons to financing it. Such as, one, you need a down payment. Two, having higher monthly payments. Uh, Three, new vehicles usually lose anywhere from 25% to 38% by the time you're done paying off the vehicle. After fully paying off the vehicle, you may be also looking at higher maintenance fees simply because it is an older model now. So, although financing has its pros and cons to it, it's not the best choice for everyone. So, you may have to look into leasing a vehicle. So, what does leasing a vehicle mean? Well, leasing a vehicle is pretty much financing a vehicle without having to take out a loan and possibly no down payment at all, but never getting full ownership of that vehicle. So, what are some pros of leasing a vehicle? Well, according to an article by Chabo on auto financing, she states that when making the choice of leasing, it allows you to have a new car every 2 to 3 years. She also states that your monthly payments are typically 30 to 60% lower than they would be when financing. You're also looking. She also states that you could be looking at lower chances of having to do major repairs on the vehicle, because usually the maintenance is covered by the leasing company wherever you leased it at. So, although these things are great about leasing a vehicle, there are also some cons to leasing a vehicle. Um, in another article by Jeshwin on autoleasing.com, he states that you have to be sure on whether the lease is an open or close end contract, meaning that if the car's value by the end of your contract is less than what you and your leasing company have agreed on, you will have to pay the difference, or you may be able to walk away from the deal, from having to pay the difference. However, she also he also states that you're limited to the amount of miles you can put on the vehicle per year. Uh, you can't When leasing, you can't modify the vehicle to your liking. It has to stay fully stocked and to the conditions that the leasing company has told you to keep it in. Without a doubt, these two options of leasing or financing a vehicle have their benefits and their disadvantages. It's something everyone needs to think about before deciding on either one. Now that you guys know a little bit about the pros and cons of financing and leasing a vehicle, I hope you are smart when it comes to you deciding on how you will purchase a vehicle. Remember to do your research on how the contract is set up and if you will be able to keep up with the monthly payments that are required for the option you take. Remember that the best deals are noticeable when one is well informed of what you are getting in the deal. So just make sure you do your research before you decide on any of these two options, and just be smart with when you decide.